Welcome back. You're still watching TVC News Breakfast Saturday. Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Ibadan has nullified the People's Democratic Party's National Convention held on 15th of November last year. In a ruling delivered by Justice Uche Ogomo, the courts declared the convention invalid and barred Kabiru Turaki and others from parading themselves as national officers of the PDP. Now, the court further ruled that the caretaker committee led by Haruna Mohammad alongside Senator Samuel Anyanwu remains the only recognized national working committee of the party. The judgment is expected to significantly reshape the party's internal leadership structure and may trigger fresh political realignment within the PDP. Now, joining us in our Abuja studio is the Factional National Publicity Secretary, PDP, Haruna Mohammad. Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. It's a pleasure having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here too, sir. So now my first question to you, sir, is basically, when you heard about the court ruling, what was your first reaction and what implication would you say this has on the PDP?
Well, the judgment didn't actually come to us as a surprise. Because if you have been following the dynamics and the developments in the PDP, especially issues before the courts, you will know that the judgment is in line with the happenings in the PDP. In the past, there were two Federal High Court judgments which directed INEC not to recognize anything, proceedings, outcome, decisions of that convention, and not to even attend that convention. There was also the judgment the judgment in favor of Alhaji Sule Lamido, which also instructed the party not to go ahead with the convention until his fundamental rights are actually observed. So this particular suit, it is instructive to mention that the Kabiru Turaki faction were the ones who went to institute this court action at the Federal High Court Ibadan, trying to compel or ask the court to compel INEC to recognize the outcome of that convention. I laughed and I said, the set of people who openly came out to tell the world that their convention was valid, they were validly elected, why would they now in turn run to a Federal High Court asking the court to compel members, to compel INEC to give recognition to what they on their own said was valid and was legal and was done in line with extant laws? So the judgment didn't actually come to us as a surprise. I want to use this opportunity to commend the judiciary for standing firm on the side of the rule of law. There is no way people who stand to violate violate party's constitution and to even go against two final judgments of a Federal High Court will think that they will still go back to the same Federal High Court that said, don't do this, and they want the court to reverse itself, take a position of an appellate court to sit and reverse itself, giving validity to what can never be valid.
I can see that your own camp, you are rejoicing about this particular judgment, but it's not yet over for your party because the National Working Committee of the Turaki-led faction has vowed to appeal this particular judgment. How do you react to this?
Well, I will advise you to also desist from giving any recognition to the Kabiru Tanimu faction by way of addressing them as factional National Working Committee, because doing so amounts to a contempt of court. So while it is within their right to go on appeal, but what we know is that even up to Supreme Court, they will lose. because you cannot build something on nothing and expect it to stand. There are about 4 court judgments and rulings against that group. How do they intend to survive it? We have the Justice Lifu, we have Justice Omotosho. There is one before Justice Abdul Malik that they were the ones who filed that suit, asking that the police be compelled to allow them access to the secretariat of the party. That suit was dismissed. And here we have the Justice Uche's judgment of Ibadan just yesterday. So I wonder, all the odds are against them. Why? Because they did not stand on the side of the law. They are all acting in flagrant disobedience to either one court judgment or extant laws and regulations of INEC and the PDP constitution, and of course, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I don't see them, succeeding wherever they go, but it is within their constitutional right to approach the appellate court. And this, of course, ought to have been what they should have done ab initio when the Justice Omotosho and Justice Lifu delivered their judgment. They ought to have stayed all actions pending the outcome of their appeal. But they felt because they have filed an appeal, they have filed a stay of execution, that guarantees them the right to go ahead and do whatever they wanted to do. But forgetting that there are certain reliefs, if granted by the court, you cannot stay them until and unless an appellate superior court sets aside those judgments. And if you look at most of the judgments delivered, there are reliefs granted that you cannot stay them until they are being set aside. So unfortunately, they went into forum shopping, going to a state high court in Ibadan that does not have jurisdiction, of which you are aware that INEC challenged the jurisdiction of that court, and eventually the INEC was delisted from that suit. And that suit, as it is today, is merely an academic exercise. So for us in the PDP, really, really grateful. We must commend the resilience, the support of the BOT members headed by Senator Mao and all members of NEC, and I must single out the steadfastness of our national leader, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike. He has done marvelously well in making sure that the PDP remains intact. The PDP remains a opposition in the country. For those that are shouting, Mr. Wike has done this, has done that, he is being to this and that. When he was sponsoring and supporting this party in the past, why didn't they come out to make complaint that he is spending too much? When he was spending to make sure that the PDP survives throughout the period of the APC's first 8-year rule, nobody complained about his activities. Nobody complained about the support he has rendered to this party. Okay. Now that, certain interests are against certain group of people, they are just making a lot of propaganda and lies. Yeah. We remain with him, and we appreciate all that he has done, and we appreciate all members of the PDP who actually believe in this cause.
Yeah, the judgments like this are mostly based on technicalities. I would have loved you to tell us about the technicalities, which you have mentioned some of them, in your earlier submissions. But what I'm more interested in what I'm more interested in, sir, is it's so close to elections. So close to elections, and PDP, a lot of people believe that PDP is supposed to be the most viable opposition and the party that will give the APC a run for its money. How ready is PDP to do that with all these court cases here and there? There's going to be an appeal, there's going to do this. It's so much. Is it not distracting the PDP from facing the election?
The PDP still remains a viable opposition and a viable platform for all Nigerians who wishes to aspire and achieve their own desires to contest elections and what have you. The court cases and the temporary issues we are facing are not ones that will prevent us from participating in the 2027 general election. As it were, you are aware, you know that all the judgments have tilted towards one side, and which is in favor of the Abdurrahman-led caretaker committee. So we will go ahead with the preparations and, towards actualizing our own visions and missions as a political party towards the general election 2027. This temporary setback are not one which has not happened to the party in the past. We are very optimistic that we will weather the storm. We are very optimistic that the courts, putting into consideration the nature of the political cases which are sui generis, we are very, very optimistic that these matters will be dispensed of as soon as possible. And we appeal and we call on our members not to be discouraged, not to be deterred by this distraction. The writing is very clear on the wall. Anyone who wishes to pursue an ambition, I can guarantee that person that the rightful place to come is to identify with us, is to identify with the Abdurrahman Mohammad-led caretaker committee. And it may interest you to know that we will be having a NEC and BOT meeting in the next coming days, and we will roll out our plans to, carry out congresses in the states where the court have instructed the party to do so, and then we will plan our convention that will be all-inclusive, a convention that will, elect legitimate National Working Committee members. So in the totality of all this, I can tell you that we are not perturbed. We are not, relenting in discharging our responsibilities as a viable opposition in the country. So we will do all it takes, and we will weather the storm by the grace of God.
Okay, so still speaking on the coming elections for 2027, now there's a narrative and certain people actually believe that all of this happening is mischief, literally purported to guarantee that President Tinubu wins the 2027 elections. What are your comments considering this?
Well, we've been hearing all of this, but no one has ever come out with any concrete evidence to showcase that the intention of a certain group is to prevent the PDP from fielding a candidate against the party. The party belongs to the people, and the power belongs to the people. People are just meddling all these rumors in order to give a dog a bad name. But I can assure you that by the time we put our house in order, we finalize all of this and do away with all the stumbling blocks, you will be shocked, you will be surprised. We will do all it takes to play our role as a viable opposition and as the strongest and largest opposition political party in Africa today. So all these are just mere rumors. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
How viable is the PDP at the moment? You are just left with 4 governors. The APC has about just a moment, has about 29 governors in Nigeria. So your party is left with 4, and you said that with this judgment, that even getting to the Supreme Court, that your own faction will definitely win at the Supreme Court. You sound so confident. There are 2 questions there you need to answer.
Well, you see, I don't know where you get your information that we have 4 governors. Recall that Governor Bala and Dauda Makinde were expelled by the party some times ago. So we do not actually regard them as members of the PDP as it stands today. So, but if assuming we have 0 governor in our midst, go around the country, PDP is the only political party that has the structure across the nooks and crannies in this country. So we have the structure, we have the followership, and I can tell you that number of governors does not determine election victories. All we need to do is to mobilize ourselves, get ourselves in order, and we will give the APC a run for their money. So let us not jump into conclusions, and let us not run faster than our shoes. At the moment, we take issues one after the other. Once we are done with our state congresses, our national conventions, we will go into the issues of election proper. But for the issue of governors, in the past, you know, during the times of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, he had a large number of PDP governors by his side. But unfortunately, he lost the election. So let us wait and see. When we get to the bridge, we shall know the tactics and maneuvers on how to cross that bridge.
It's quite interesting that you said that your party will give the APC the run for their money. If your own faction has even endorsed the APC for the 2027 general election. These are interesting times ahead.
I don't get you. Mean we've endorsed APC?
Well, absolutely. That is what the Turaki-led faction is accusing your own faction, that your party, your own faction has endorsed the APC.
See, there's difference between an individual position and a position of a political party. If the PDP is going to take a position, it will be PDP as a whole. But if certain individual in his own right decides to throw a support behind certain candidate, then you cannot call that as the position of the People's Democratic Party. And let me also add that I not only you, but I want to call on our viewers and the entire people of this country to please always discountenance submissions made by the leadership of that group. You know, they are you know, major weapon is to churn out propaganda and lies.
Okay, it's
just to seek sympathy from their members. Let me come. You could see that they have been traveling all around the country, meeting one leader, X this, X that. All of this are aimed at deceiving and giving, you know, a scenario, a picture of what does not actually exist. They are trying to draw legitimacy from where they cannot draw. So whatever Kabiru Tanimu Turaki said should be discountenanced by the PDP members and entire members and
it's a fine place. It's a fine place to leave it. The factional national public secretary of the PDP, Haruna Mohammad, thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday.
And please, I will crave your indulgence that you desist from addressing me as a factional a publicity secretary. If doing so amounts to a contempt of the court, the court delivered a landmark judgment yesterday. So there is no faction in the PDP, please, and there has never been faction in the PDP.
All right, so time will definitely tell in all this development happening in the PDP at the moment. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll now turn our attention to the railways in Nigeria. What can the government do to make railways safe and effective for Nigerians? Do not go anywhere. We'll talk more